Greetings, everyone. Well, as you can tell, earlier today I just saw the newest Pixar film, Onward. Heard the latest film in the company's now 25-year history, and it was, to say the least, an enchanting experience. Once again, keeping that streak alive of so far I've yet to see a movie from the company I've disliked, and this one's no exception. This modern fantasy adaptation, no, not adaptation, this modern fantasy film, sorry, I misspoke, yeah, sees a young man named Ian, voiced by Tom Holland, and his brother Barley, voiced by Chris Pratt, who live with her mother, voiced by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, after their father passed away when they were at still a young age. So on Ian's 16th birthday, he discovers his father's old staff, as well as a spell that can bring him back for 24 hours, which kicks off a mystical quest to find him, and as a result, bond more over the course of this journey. And as you can tell, I've been eager to see this movie for at least a year. I saw the first teaser of it when I was at Toy Story 4 last year, and as well as some of the early posters, and I gotta say, it very much lives up to my personal hype machine, and I definitely try to go in mostly with my expectations up at the door, and it was definitely a hilarious and heartwarming journey, as the company has excelled at, like, how even when they're not really focusing on humans, like with The Incredibles and Up, they always are good at giving the human qualities to other stuff like toys, bugs, rats, robots, or even personifying the emotions themselves. And I have to say that director Dan Scanlon, who here's with Monster University, has delivered another a great film to his repertoire and the companies as well. Yeah, tonally reminded me a lot of films that I grew up with in that time and when I was younger. And in terms of how sometimes the best things can come from a simple but effective concept. It's what you do with that concept really makes it work. Like how you want to have a Manticore that's basically now turned their tavern into a glorified TGI Fridays. Sure. Or you want to have a centaur police officer and a pixie motorcycle gang. Go ahead. You want to have something simple, like a dragon be your school mascot, and also your final boss, but also have a battle being fought with a sword you buy at a pawn shop, and moves you learn just watching an exercise video. That's the whole thing. And I'm a big believer in the idea that tropes are tools, or that it is possible to have it, but I'm not even sure there's any one main antagonist in this film. Like, sure, there was that dragon that's mentioned, but I think the main conflict stems from how while both the brothers in their own ways have yet to fully come to terms with their father's passing. I can definitely relate to that, given how I don't want to see my dad all the time, and also have lost people I've cared about ever since I started this channel. But so we're getting a little bit heavy there, but there are still quite a few parts that made me laugh as well. Just the whole idea. I'm like, they're very, on top of like other ones, very really wasn't laughing. I've been invested. Like using like a cheese puff as a boat to go through a chasm, or having the van quite literally being salvaged from a bunch of spare parts, gives it personality. I mean, and that's one thing I like about this film, much like the other ones. It has one thing that makes sure I never mistake of another company's personality. It's a little touch like having like a pool where the tiles are dragon scales, or the monitor being shaped like a coat of arms, or even, hey, even just like the table, or even just like the layout of the kitchen itself being round so everyone has to look each other in the eye. Heck, the van itself is named Guinevere, like King Arthur's his love and later his queen. And so it wears its enthusiasm for fantasy genre on its sleeve. And sometimes the smallest bit's gonna have a big impact. I mean, like casting a spell that fire and lightning over a village may be spectacular, but something as simple as like putting on like your late father's beat up sweatshirt from varsity, he can often leave some emotional weight. And of course, a lot of supporting cast. How we're having John Ratzenberger as one of the construction workers, hers as the one obligatory cameo. Oh, we've also got Lena Waithe as a Cyclops traffic officer with an alternative lifestyle. Man, it may not be traditional, but dang it, I support a Cyclops to be able to date whoever she wants to. So, as you can tell, how before I do my usual riff of the coming attractions, I really enjoyed this film and definitely hope to finally get involved in the Pixar marathon. Given how I've got most of the ones I have on DVD and the others I think on Disney Plus, so it's not going to be a problem. So I give this as an enchanting 4 out of 4 before I get into my riff of coming attractions. Once again, no particular ordered roughly by anticipation of the theatrical release date. I still believe, I keep forgetting that's happening. Still think if you've seen one inspirational biopic, you've basically seen them all. Oh, I mean, Mulan, I'm still keeping an open mind as best I can, even with this outbreak complicating matters even further than any changes the story or characters. But I definitely hope so. I definitely like the martial arts aspect of the original movie. I'll definitely want to have my look at that ready to go before it comes out. I definitely like a lot of these other kind of wuxia films, and I just hope it's good. I mean, I'll also be prepared to deal with it. And as for the PG-13, the first one of the remakes actually has done so. It does look much more dramatic than the original, which already pretty intense film, so to speak, but it's about the same kind of level as something that would seem like a more of a Star Wars film, more or less, man, by my count. Scoob. I'm sorry, fellas. I'm just not feeling that one. I'm personally not sure who's actually claiming for him of X-Men Universe, because it just looks like something you would expect to see on as a DTV for on Cartoon Network than this, which if that being the case, I'm gonna wait for that to come out on those, given how the next one I'm gonna be talking about is making a better argument for with the theatrical release and just finding existence, like SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of the Water, which the second one was actually much better than it had right to be. I still like the first one the best. Because it helps that even though some of the cheeses have been kind of shaky, as many people online can attest, I'm not sure what to make of the origin story aspect of the movie, but once again, the road trip on to find Gary intrigues me, as does having Keanu Reeves as a tumbleweed. Yeah. And the next one is definitely going to be something I'm really have been surprised by, like Artemis Fowl. I have not read the books of those, but I can at least understand why the people who are fans of material are not happy with this, because it's like, as YA fantasy adaptations have been known to go, for every Harry Potter, there's been a John Carter. For every Hunger Games, there's been a Divergent. for Lord of the Rings has been Aragorn. That's the kind of thing that concerns me. I mean, because apparently they're trying to make the Tiger Kid more heroic, even though he's been described by both fans and the authors being like a young version of Hans Gruber from Die Hard. I mean, and apparently there's pushback to the Fox merger, and I'm not sure what's going to happen given how the reception is not good. I mean, to the newest trailer. I mean, I can definitely sympathize given how it's like the same kind of thing I went through when they turned Goku into a Canadian teenager who wants some as opposed to the whimsical, but powerful young hero he was in the source material, or turning Aang from a bright and chipper young man who knows what he has to do to being like a sullen and pessimistic figure. I mean, and also on top of this, on top of the outbreak leaving a big question mark with its prospects, it's up against a pretty stiff competition. Admittedly, like apart from ones just mentioned, there's also gonna be Furious 9, Wonder Woman 1984, Disney's own Black Widow from Marvel. I mean, part of me wonders wouldn't it be better just put this on Disney Plus and just cut their losses. I mean, given how, as opposed to potentially eating $120 million, I mean, while even because especially given how affecting things like Tomorrowland, Lone Ranger, even Solo, while not as big as Bomb as some of the other ones I mentioned, admittedly underperformed compared to the other ones why they retooled some of the ideas for Disney Plus, like The Mandalorian, the Obi-Wan show they're working on, and why they're just taking a little break. Again, I don't mind all they're going to be alternating the next movies they're doing between the Avatar sequels, kind of interested in both ones, but again, so on top of that, I'm gonna be reshuffling things a bit, given how some of the releases are being pushed back due to this new stuff. I will say this, that's all I'm gonna say for now about this outbreak, is to stay safe, follow the instructions, and if you're sick, don't be afraid to stay home, okay? I mean, just in case something happens, and my informations and for my games I'm most active on are in my channel description if anyone wants to join me, so I definitely will talk to you all later. Yeah.